Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're going to talk a little bit about tires and foam inserts and getting the best performance you can out of them. Yeah, I know, most people are just going to go out and buy the stickiest tires that they can get and hope that that works. Or they're going to get the most aggressive tread and think that that's exactly what they need. That's not always the case. Sometimes you can make a set of tires that aren't performing that well a little bit better with just a slight modification. I know sometimes when people talk about modifications, people get scared. That means cutting or modifying something you've spent a lot of money on. And that's not always an easy choice. I get it. But I'm going to take this concept and make it a little more comfortable for you. How about that? So what I've got is a set of Endura wheels and tires. And these are the black beadlock rims, the 1-inch, 22 millimeter black aluminum rims, and their Rock Terrain crawler tire. Now, I'm not actually going to modify the tire itself, but we're going to modify the insert. Now, I might also put a vent hole in the tire. I don't usually like to do that because it tends to get water in. I like to vent the rims more than I like to vent the tire itself. But today I just didn't really want to drill, so we're going to do something with these and make them perform better than what they would have straight out of the package. Now, the foams, they're I'd say medium to stiff. They're not bad, but when you put them in the tire, they're going to really stiffen up the sidewall and the overall tire itself. And that's probably not what we're looking for. We're probably looking for something a little bit softer, the medium to soft range. But there is a way to make these conform to the rocks a little bit easier. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut little chunks out of the side or both sides or both corners of the insert. And this is going to help them perform. Now, let me show you what I actually mean by this. So we'll take this foam out. So what I like to do is take a straight edge of some sort and a marker. And then what we're going to do is, so we've got it fairly even. Doesn't have to be super even, but it does kind of help at times. Just going to mark where you want these chunks to come out. And we're going to do it in several places. And just so that it's even all around, this straight edge of some sort will just kind of help you keep them evenly spaced. Because you don't want one too close to another or too far apart from another, because then that can create some sloppiness or some binding or bunching up of the foam inside. And then once you get it kind of marked the way you want, those same body scissors we used in another video, we're going to come in and we're going to pinch and just cut off a small section of it. So now you've got a little chunk out of it. That actually might be a little bit too big, but that'll be all right. We'll just go around and do the same thing on every other one on this. And then on every other one coming back, we'll just do a smaller bit. So now we got some chunks out of there. You see how they look? So coming back the other way, we'll just take some smaller bits out. And then again, the reason for this is now the tire is not having the foam push against it and will allow it to conform to different rocks. Then when I go to the other inside or outside, vice versa, I'll do it the opposite. But this time I think I'm just going to take smaller chunks out all the way around. This will give the tire the ability to squish around other objects without the foam impeding the tire from doing its job. And now that we have all of our foams trimmed up on the edges, now we can assemble the tires and see the improvement that it's going to make out on the course. Because basically what it'll do is it's going to allow the tire to flex in certain areas and allow a bit more bite, because the foam adds stiffness to the tire itself. And sometimes you want that stiffness, especially when you're on a side hill, but when you're trying to grab for traction on a rock or some other obstacle, you do want some flex and give. And by cutting those foams, that's going to allow you to be able to do that. Foams are fairly cheap, so you can get several sets and trim them in different ways to allow for different types of traction. That's kind of the really cool thing about using foam inserts. Now the silicone are really nice. They do allow for stiffness and flex because of the way they're designed. But you really can't tune those like you can with foam. So it's good to have a set of these around just so you can tune it to the way you want. So I'll go ahead and I'll get these all assembled and we'll try it out on their course. So let's see how much it conforms to the rock when we do this. See that tire flex? That's what you want to see when you're trying to rock crawl, because you're getting as much tire contact patch on it as you possibly can. Well, still can't get up there, but when I've got it in a different configuration, the course, I can actually scale that side of that little mountain there. So Well, I really hope that that helped show you what you can do with those foam inserts to create better traction and really help out your rig. It really didn't translate well on the track over here, but you could see that the sidewall was flexing more in places, and it increased the stiffness of the tire and just overall better traction throughout. Going up through Skull Mountain on there, you could see how it was so much more confident and just didn't struggle, where other times with the stock tires, it struggled terribly. So there are advantages. So we're going to leave that here, and in the next one, we'll start looking at upgrading that servo, because I really think that these bigger tires are now needing a little bit more power in the steering area. So check out my next one as soon as I can get it put out. Thanks a lot, guys. Dude, I just dig those Enduro rims and tires. Oh, it just looks so much cooler now. I don't know why, but it just does. And man, it just looks cool. That's the original motor. I've had it for years and it still runs like a champ. So, but I'm probably gonna have to upgrade that someday. We'll see. But anyway, see you in the next one. Bye.